What if Vegeta killed Goku the moment he arrived on Earth? He takes Gohan and starts to train him as his weapon. He wants to defeat Frieza because of what he has done to him. But in all of this chaos, how is Earth going to be saved? The moment Goku lands, Vegeta is already waiting. He uses Final Flash, and Goku is dead before he can even look up. Vegeta didn't come to Earth for a fight. He came to take it. Frieza was still out there, stronger than ever, and Vegeta was done being his pawn anymore. He needed to surpass him, and that meant one thing, building something of his own. Earth was the perfect place to start. He didn't come alone. Behind him were ex-Frieza mercenaries, fighters who only followed power and got nothing out of it. Now they followed Vegeta because they were going to free themselves off his hold. Vegeta was injured after using Final Flash at full strength, but they made sure no one touched him. Earth was his within hours, but not everyone gave up. Piccolo saw what was happening and moved fast. He grabbed baby Gohan and tried to escape, knowing the danger Vegeta posed. But before he could take off, Vegeta's army blocked him. Piccolo fought hard, but they outnumbered him. Gohan was taken. Piccolo barely managed to get away. He fled to Namekusei, a quiet planet that was far from Frieza's reach. There was no empire or war. It was just warriors and mystics strong enough to train with. Piccolo didn't want Frieza hearing anything. If he found out about Gohan, he'd take him just like he did with Vegeta. Piccolo decided he'd train in silence, lead an army, and when they are strong enough to stand against Vegeta, he'd return for the boy. Back on Earth, Vegeta wasted no time. His army turned cities into outposts. Governments collapsed. Earth became the foundation of his new empire. Most importantly, Gohan was under his control now. He was his weapon. Vegeta began training him with the same brutal methods he knew. There was no kindness or breaks. Like he had learned, only survival mattered. But Gohan adapted. He endured and kept pieces of who he was, even through the beatings and drills. But during all of this, Vegeta noticed something in him. He saw familiarity. The kid reminded him of himself, not just in strength, but in silence, in restraint. It wasn't something Vegeta liked, but he didn't stop it either. He grew protective of him, cared for him when Gohan faced challenges, but he stayed unaffected on the surface. He never let it show to anyone. He needed Gohan to surpass him. He needed someone who could take on Frieza, and whether he admitted it or not, part of him believed Gohan could. That was the plan now. Train the boy, kill the tyrant, and if Earth survived that, good for them. While Earth bent under Vegeta's rule, Piccolo was somewhere no one thought to look, planet Namekusei. It wasn't like Namek. Namekusei had history buried deep, warriors, mystics, and a kind of spiritual depth untouched by Empire. Piccolo was preparing. He trained with monks who didn't teach technique. They unlocked potential. His fusion with Kami had only scratched the surface. What he found on Namekusei was legacy. He didn't merge with another Namekian this time. He merged with memory, with will, with the forgotten strength of his people, and he changed. He just stood taller, sharper this time, more focused than ever. Back on Earth, Gohan kept growing. Vegeta's training was brutal, but Gohan didn't break. He bent the rules in silence, absorbing the Saiyan mindset. He didn't lose himself in it. He remembered his mother's kindness. He remembered Earth. He carried both sides like two blades, ready to cut through whatever future was being built for him. And Vegeta, of course, noticed this. He told himself the boy was just adapting. But sometimes Gohan said things that made him pause. Things Kakarot would have said, and that scared him more than he admitted. Still, he kept Goku's death quiet. Frieza couldn't know. The moment he found out Kakarot was gone, he'd come to Earth, and Vegeta wasn't ready. Not yet. So he told his old master nothing. Let the galaxy believe Kakarot was training in silence. Let Frieza waste time chasing ghosts. And until then, Gohan would be his sword and his shield. Maybe even the piece of himself he never knew he needed. But Frieza always finds out. It was only a matter of time. Word reached him that Goku, the so-called Saiyan Hope, wasn't lurking in the shadows or off training in some distant corner of the universe. He was dead. And not just dead. Killed by Vegeta. Now that was unexpected for him. Frieza wasn't angry, but he got curious. And then obsessed. Not with Vegeta, but with the boy. Gohan. The one thing Vegeta had that he feared and coveted at the same time. A Saiyan with power and a conscience. That was dangerous. That could ruin empires. So Frieza came to Earth. But this time he had evolved into something worse. Something he called Cold Core form. A parasitic transformation. It fed on planets, on life, on energy itself. He did more than destroying worlds now. He hollowed them out. Piccolo heard that Frieza was already on Earth, so he rushed to save Gohan. By the time he arrived there, Frieza was already in front of Vegeta. Piccolo didn't even try to intervene. He moved around to find Gohan, and when he did, he tried to take him off of the battleground. This place was too dangerous right now, and he wouldn't risk losing Gohan as well. The sky tore open. Earth was cracking beneath Frieza's weight. Vegeta was standing alone. He was no longer going to let Frieza control him. It was too late. Piccolo knew that Gohan wasn't a kid anymore. He'd trained, grown, and now he refused to leave Vegeta. He moved in front of Vegeta, shielding him from Frieza. Frieza, ever the manipulator, used his words like knives. Your father was weak. Your so-called mentor killed him himself. And you're just the next puppet. But me? I see you. If you follow me, I can make you a god. Gohan's heart cracked. Everything hit at once. His father's death, Vegeta's betrayal, the weight of being used, again and again for what? It triggered him to the point where a golden storm lit the battlefield. The boy exploded into a Super Saiyan. He went for Frieza, and for a moment, it looked like he'd win. Frieza stumbled, still bleeding and cracked, but held his ground. He had to take him down before any other transformation. He drew the death beam. It was aimed right at Gohan, but it never even touched him. Vegeta moved. He took it head on, burning through everything he had left. And as he fell, Gohan rose, shocked, fueled by everything he'd lost, everything he'd loved, everything he wasn't ready to let go of. He used final Kamehameha. It was something that no one had seen before, not even Vegeta. But he realized that it was not just Goku's legacy or Vegeta's technique. It was a combination of both. Frieza was gone before he hit the ground. Gohan rushed to Vegeta's side. The man who had trained him, lied to him, and protected him. Vegeta, ever the one filled in his pride, still showed no chances of him asking for any forgiveness. But he asked for Piccolo instead. He offered his life and power to let Piccolo revive Goku in exchange of his, because his mission was complete here, and he wanted to give Gohan the chance he never had. Peace came with a lot of silence. Frieza was gone. The Empire had no ruler. And for the first time in what felt like forever, no one was screaming about domination or destruction. But the galaxy was looking to the one who struck the final blow and asking, now what? Gohan could have taken it all. The fear, the power, the legacy. He had every right to sit on Frieza's throne and rule by force, but he didn't. The Obsidian Keep, Frieza's brutalist little symbol of control, became a meeting ground, a neutral zone. No banners, no armies, just a council, a republic, one made up of former enemies. Piccolo stayed close, acting more like a quiet advisor than a general, and Goku, newly returned, oddly calm, wandered the stars with Piccolo, helping planets rebuild, teaching strength without violence. You could say they were building something like laws, maybe even peace. And this is how I think I would like to end the story. Let me know what you'd do differently. Drop your version in the comments.